Hello, and welcome to our 12th D&D 3.5 Prestige class review. In this video, I'm going to be going over the various aspects of a particular D&D 3.5 Prestige class, and evaluating the class on its concept and execution. I'll also give my thoughts on each of its class features, as well as some ideas for how I would improve it, plus my own recommendations for building a character around it. Today we're going to be looking at the Priest. This is a Prestige class from the Book of Vile Darkness. It also appears in the Complete Divine Supplement. We'll be referring mostly to the latter updated version here. Priests steal divine energy from deities without worshipping them. They hate the gods and enjoy siphoning the powers said deities grant to their followers. Many priests are ex-clerics. To take levels in Priest, you must be of evil alignment, and you must give up any ability to cast divine spells, or have none in the first place. This is a big ask, although this class does allow you to get a very fast spellcasting progression, allowing you to potentially get 9th level spells as early as level 14. Besides giving up divine spellcasting, you also need to have 6 ranks in Bluff, 5 ranks in Knowledge Arcana, 8 ranks in Knowledge Religion, 5 ranks in Knowledge of the Planes, and 8 ranks in Spellcraft. For feats, you're going to need Iron Will and Spell Focus Evil. Neither of these feats are particularly bad, but nor are they particularly powerful on their own. And the ranks required adds up to 32 skill points, something the average cleric won't have until level 13 or so, assuming non-human average intelligence, but also having the trickery domain to get Bluff as a class skill. That said, a wizard could more easily fulfill the skill requirements of the class, although the base save requirements of base fortitude and will save of +3, you would not be able to get as a wizard until level 9, at least single classing. So I would rate this prestige class as very restrictive in terms of its requirements. It requires a huge skill point investment, as well as 2 feats for a set of classes that don't get many bonus feats. That said, the Priest does pay off for the buy-in required. The Priest gives a D8 hit die, same as the cleric it mimics. It gets the same skill points as a cleric as well. You gain no proficiencies of note. Overall, this is pretty average and about what you would expect. As for class features, you start out with Priest spellcasting. The Priest casts spells like a cleric, but cannot spontaneously cast cure or inflict spells. The Priest starts with 0th and 1st level spells and gains a new spell level at every level of this prestige class, rather than every other level for most other classes. Though you will start with 0 spells per day at each of those levels, so you're only going to get what bonus spells you would get for having a high wisdom. This shouldn't be too much of an issue, although if you are playing a wizard, it is going to make you have to keep up with 2 ability scores. But even given that, this is an incredibly fast spellcasting progression and well worth it. You will easily make up for lost time even if you do enter this class as a cleric and lose all divine spellcasting ability. Entering as a wizard will be like a lopsided Mystic Theurge build. You will not get as many spells per day, but you will still be able to access spells out of your league for your character level. So this is a very powerful feature. More of a quality over quantity compared to the Mystic Theurge. At level 2, you gain the ability to rebuke undead, using your Priest level in place of your cleric level. This is useful as rebuking undead can come in handy, although by itself is not the most powerful feature, although you could potentially use these for divine metamagic feats. At level 4, you gain spell resistance 15, but only against divine spells, or the spell-like abilities of outsiders. At 8th level, this becomes spell resistance 20. This is a situational ability as is, but that's not its biggest problem. If you're having a spell-like ability used against you, the chances are decent that it's from an outsider. However, the caster level of the outsider is going to be the concern here. At level 4 in this class, you're going to be probably 9th or 10th level at the least, so on average, something like a Hezru demon of roughly around that challenge rating is going to beat your spell resistance on anything but a natural 1 with its caster level of 13. By the time you're getting spell resistance 20, you'll be level 13 or 14 at the very least, and likely encountering monsters like Horned Devils, Ice Devils, or Glabrizus, who have caster levels between 13 and 15. This spell resistance does not improve anymore after level 8, so this ability will quickly go from mostly ineffective to entirely ineffective as you enter the epic levels, by which point there will be better options for gaining better spell resistance. Overall, while spell resistance is quite strong in general, this ability's lack of scaling prevents it from being strong. Even at its peak, it will only protect you from enemy spells around 20 to 30% of the time, and that's assuming you're targeted by such an ability. At level 6, you gain Siphon Spell Power. This ability is a bit complicated and requires a bit of math, but it can be quite strong. You can combine 2 or more lower level spell slots to prepare a higher level spell. You add up the level of the lower level spell slots you wish to give up, then multiply by 3/4 rounded down. This lets you somewhat inefficiently make better use of lower level spell slots to gain more higher level spell slots for the Priest. This is a very powerful ability that complements and compensates for your fewer number of spells per day for your higher level spells as an Priest. You must be able to cast the level of spell you want to prepare, but even so, this allows you to really max out your highest level spells if you so choose, and fine-tune your spell selection rather than being limited by a set number of spell slots. This ability almost makes the Prestige class worth it by itself, potentially allowing a 10th level Priest to cast 8 9th level spells per day, without even taking bonus spells for High Wisdom into account. Finally, at level 10, you gain the Steal Spellic ability class feature. This has the same name as the Spell Thief class feature, but works differently. It allows you to, once per day, steal a spell-like ability from a creature within 50 feet of you. 50 feet is an odd range for an ability, but we'll let that go as it is a decent range for most D&D combats. The Priest must name the spell he's attempting to steal, and the attempt fails if he names a spell the creature doesn't have as a spell-like ability. This can be limiting, but with a cooperative DM and good knowledge skills, which you will have as taking the Priest in the first place, you can get by pretty well. There is no saving throw for this ability, which is a major boost. And while it is called Steal-like spell-like ability, perhaps Copy spell-like ability would be more accurate, as it doesn't remove that spell-like ability from the creature. They can still use it. The Priest can use it as often as the creature can, or thrice per day, whichever is less. This is a fair limiting factor, as some spells being castable at will would be quite overpowered. This is a fairly strong ability, though not as strong as Siphon spell power. Overall, other than perhaps a couple more minor abilities to cancel out or interfere with divine magic, the Priest is pretty much already an ideal example of its archetype. It has an excellent spell progression and some very powerful abilities. While they do take some time to get, by the time you get them, you are reaching the level where they can be truly useful. Despite its restrictive requirements, the Priest delivers strong abilities that make it a tempting choice. By far its weakest abilities are the Rebuke Undead, and especially the Divine Spell Resistance, but even those could be useful in certain situations. I would give the Priest 5 stars for concept and 4 stars for execution. For build advice, despite the role-playing appeal of an ex-cleric turning against the concept of divinity entirely, it's not a very good idea, as unlike with Paladin and Blackguard, there really aren't any payoffs for being an ex-cleric with the class. In fact, your caster level specifically does not stack with any cleric levels you might have had in the past. As such, given the class's skill requirements, a wizard is likely the best choice. However, the prerequisites do lean more toward a cleric, who can qualify for them, the base save requirements, by level 2. A potential build here would be to take a level of fighter, or perhaps a couple of levels of fighter, but you'd really only need one, and then a few levels of wizard to be able to get into the prestige class more quickly, get the required skill ranks and the required skills, and also be able to shore up that +3 base fortitude save required. It's a bit of an odd build and not the sort of thing that you would expect for the class based on what it's called, but the intentions of the designers are a little bit of a mystery here. Perhaps a knowledge domain cleric or an archivist was the intended feeder class for this prestige class, but even that seems a little bit odd. That said, it isn't too difficult to get into Priest with a little bit of clever multi-classing, and the payoff that you get can be truly spectacular. So, that's about it for this prestige class review. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, etc. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.